Hello everyone, TXephy here. So Mute got a pretty big buff recently, getting access to the SMG-11. Before that, he was considered mediocre at best and bad at worst. Has that changed since the latest patch? Well, let's see about that. Mute is a 2-armor 2-speed vanilla defensive operator, a member of the British SAS, who is free for all owners of the game and is also given as a choice for people who bought the starter edition. As a defending operator, he covers the utility and supportive role, being one of the 3 characters who can counter Thermite and Hibana's hard breaching. Mute can be played as either an anchor or a roamer. However, with his latest buff, he is more suited to the anchoring role. He is famous for being recommended for beginner players because he is quote-unquote easy to play. But how simple can such a multi-dimensional operator really be? To find out, we need to take a look at his gadget. Mute Gadget is the single disruptor, also colloquially known as a jammer. In true introvert fashion, he even gave it a little name: Money. His jammers are essentially modified routers, which prevents all attacker gadgets in a cylindrical area around the jammer from functioning. Despite it being a cylindrical area, sometimes the disruptors don't jam drones that drive under them. I don't even know how that works, but the things it can jam, it does so very well, including Fuse's cluster charges, breaching charges, Lion's drone signals, Dokubi's calls, but most importantly, it jams Thermite's exothermic charge, Hibana's X-Cairo pellets, and all attacker drones. This doesn't apply to defender gadgets, so don't worry about messing up your teammates. Unlike certain people, the disruptors can be destroyed by shooting them once, or by using Thatcher's EMP or Twitch's shock drone taser. And while those can be shot down easily, it's not like Mute is a wimp and can't retaliate. Let's look at his weapon options. Mute has quite a variety in his weapons. The MP5K is a decent SMG, with an average rate of fire, damage, and basically no recoil, making it a headshot machine if you're accurate enough. It comes with an integrated vertical grip, so your attachment options consist only of barrels, optics, and the laser sight. And like the other MP5 derivatives available to the defenders, this one does not have access to an ACOG, although if it did have it, it would probably make Mute overpowered. Deck it out like you would any low recoil SMG. My personal preference is the Compensator with the Holographic. The M59 is a great shotgun for destruction, and allows Mute to manipulate the sight to however he pleases, making murder holes, rotation holes, and destroying hatches. If you have played Smoke in the past, you know how to use the shotgun to create those, but if you haven't, here's a general rule you should follow. If there is a wall between 2 objectives, like on bomb game mode, it is generally a good idea to make a hole using explosives or shotguns in that wall. Just trust me, your teammates will thank you. The shotgun, in general, is a pretty good weapon by itself, especially so for a pump shotty. Although, because it's only good in close quarters, I would highly recommend staying on the objectives when using it. Customize it the same as you would any other pump shotgun. Laser, any optic, business as usual. But wait, what if I need to shoot at long ranges? Wouldn't the shotgun make me essentially useless in these scenarios? Well, this is where the secondary weapons come into play. Mute has access to 2 of those, the P226 pistol, and recently, the SMG-11. The P226 is a decent pistol, which can help you out in a pinch, and if you are the type to panic and spray everywhere, I would recommend using this thing instead of the SMG-11, mainly because the latter is most useful when fired in short bursts. It can attach the laser pointer, the suppressor, and the muzzle brake. It makes for a very great secondary option in dire situations. And remember, switching to a pistol is always faster than reloading. No, for real though. Switch time to pistols is actually like 50% faster than to any other weapon type or something like that. Oh god, please don't quote me on that. The SMG-11 though! Machine pistols, you know each time the enemy uses them they get like 60 headshots onto you, but when you use them your crosshair flies into the stratosphere somehow. Not the SMG-11 though. Just like the C-75, it is actually fairly controllable, especially if you pre-aim the positions you expect the enemies to be. It has access to all close-range optics, all the barrel attachments, including the extended barrel but excluding the muzzle brakes, strangely enough, and the vertical grip. I personally use the Verti4, the Flash Hider, and the Holographic, but the Compensator is a decent barrel attachment option as well. Use whatever you feel comfortable with. With his weapons out of the way, let's look at his secondary gadgets. Mute has access to 2 secondary gadgets, the Bulletproof Camera and the Nitro Cell. The camera is a decent option on objectives with long lines of sight, like Oregon 2nd floor. It is especially useful if your teammates are willing to communicate, because sometimes it can really help your teammates out with clutch last-second sight holds. Put it in places with long hallways and corridors for that sweet intel gathering. The C4 is a decent option, being a great fragging and plant denial gadget. being also pretty useful for clutch situations and securing kills. Like this.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
With all of these cards on the table, let's discuss the general strategy you should have as Mute. The number one thing you will notice when playing as Mute is that 45 seconds isn't nearly enough of a prep time, especially considering you have 4 jammers, 2 reinforcements, potentially a bulletproof camera to place down, maybe pick up Rook armor, and possibly even make a rotation hole with your shotgun. This makes Mute very risky in the beginning of the game. Considering you won't be able to do all these things on time, you might be picked off if the enemy is rushing. This is also why Shotgun Mute is a much better anchor, considering that roamers have to get pretty far away from the objective as soon as possible. And as soon as you can do so as Mute is somewhere around 5 seconds left mark. All of this is a roundabout way of saying that if you are planning to roam as Mute, you probably won't be able to deep roam like Vigil or Caveira. During prep phase, take note of any outside facing walls. If there are any, reinforce them, and put a Mute jammer next to them, if your team doesn't have a Bandit or Kaid to prevent Thermite and Hibana from breaching in. If you want to focus on preventing attackers from joining, effective spots include doorways, middles of hallways, tops of staircases, and drone holes. Since the jammers have a decent area of effect, try to hide jammers in corners to prevent attackers from figuring out their precise locations. This will also prevent Twitch from shooting them down easily. Mute synergizes very well with Castle, because he can prevent attackers from breaching his barricades using breaching charges, and because he can prevent Fuse from using his cluster charges on his barricades. Make sure that your jammers can be easily shot from outside though, since Castle's barricades have small holes for drones to pass through on the bottom of them. Mute also synergizes with Mira. Remember in Hibana video I mentioned that she can destroy mirrors from a safe distance? Well, not if Mute has anything to say about it. The jammer can prevent the X-Cairo owned mirrors from going off, so you should protect your friendly Mira's gadgets if you can. Also, Mute can jam Twitch's drones, which are a pretty big counter to Mira as well. Mute directly counters Lion's EE1D and Dokubi's Logic Bomb, as they won't activate on people who are directly in the range of Mute's jammer during activation. Because it's easier to put a band-aid fix on a big problem rather than removing the problem altogether. With all that in mind, Mute is a very versatile and flexible operator, who can do a little bit of everything. Fragging, supporting, entry denying, anchoring, roaming, to armored 2-speed operator. This young man has it all. I'm dead serious about the young part, he's only 25, what? In all seriousness though, while Mute might be a very beginner-friendly operator, that does not mean he can't be played by veterans. And if you haven't played him in a while, you should try him out. He might be right up your alley, especially since the latest buff. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment and subscribe. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I will try to respond to as many of you as possible. Next operator I will be covering is also a quote-unquote beginner operator, Sledge. So be on the lookout for that. And remember folks, communication is key. Good luck, have a nice day.